We now realize that the surface temperature of Venus is 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than a baker's oven. Lead would be molten at that temperature. And when it rains sulfuric acid.
Like no other, the Soviet Union holds the most remarkable achievements in space exploration, while also carrying scars from its battles. But they have spoken the least about most of their experiences, locking in a wealth of secrets that the world yearns to know about. However, an intriguing twist in this tale has emerged as an old Soviet astronaut has just shared deep secrets about the space explorations of his nation, which had long been hidden from the public. What are these secrets, and how do they change everything we were told about the cosmos and alien life? Join us as we embark on a journey to unearth the truth. As one of the very first nations to pick an interest in space exploration and pursue it with all their might, the Soviet Union has had many victories. As history demands, we need to be reminded of some of their groundbreaking achievements occasionally. It's a famous fact that the United States of America was the first nation to put a man on the moon and even have its flag planted on it. As applaudable as this is, it permits us to lay bare another truth that is less spoken of in a whisper. The United States is not the first to explore the lunar surface. The Soviet Union gracefully took this credit by using unmanned space probes. This victory is summed up in the Soviet Union's Luna mission with Lunar 2, launched on September 12, 1959. This was the first artificial space object to strike the moon. But before this, the Luna 1 mission was launched on January 2, 1959. This was the first spacecraft to attempt an exploration of the moon's surface, and is also the first spacecraft to ever go past and conquer Earth's gravity, marking the beginning of a series of missions that would eventually leave an indelible mark on the lunar surface while gathering worthwhile information that has proven to be highly beneficial over time. As for the Soviet Union, they had only just begun their journey as stunning world pioneers. Some of their leading achievements include sending the first woman, Valentina Tereshkova, into space, which took place in 1963, and being the first to launch an artificial satellite, Sputnik, into space. Sending an animal to the Earth's orbit and back for the first time is also accredited to the Soviet Union. While other areas where they surprisingly lead the world include having the first probe to descend into the atmosphere of another planet, having the first spacecraft to make a soft landing on another planet, having the first missions to return images and sounds from the surfaces of other planets, and more. They did all of this through the Soviet space program, which has only made groundbreaking achievements since its creation. Doing so by harnessing the financial resources, scientific knowledge, and incredibly great manpower of the nation. Consequently, in their bid to do more toward capturing space, Venus soon came into view, beating every other nation to it alongside the odds that stood in the way. The Soviet Union became the first nation to explore Venus, a planet with one of the worst atmospheres in our solar system. Dragging their competition with the US from the Cold War into space explorations, the Soviet Union exploring Venus was a way of showing some sort of supremacy in the field. This is because Venus is not a place where space agencies would take their chances and dare to explore. But why exactly do we mention this? We will start by analyzing the harsh climate of Venus to explain what we mean. Indeed, if you are human, Venus is not a place to be, as it embodies quite a high atmospheric pressure, 92 times that of Earth. As if that is not enough, this atmosphere is jam-packed with numerous toxic gases, including carbon dioxide and sulfur. Venus is also very hot, and it's surprisingly hotter than Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun. But how is this even possible? Well, even though Mercury is closest to the Sun, it can at least dissipate the heat that comes from the Sun. However, Venus is unable to do this. Hence, instead of dissipating any heat the Sun brings in, it traps them, thus creating an atmosphere that is hotter than a baker's oven, according to Michio Kaku. As a result, Venus maintains a temperature of about 400 degrees Celsius, both night and day, without cooling off. Mercury, on the other hand, can cool up to minus 170 degrees Celsius at night. Because of the harsh conditions of Venus's atmosphere, the United States didn't even dare to compete by attempting to explore it. Instead, they focused on exploring the Moon. The Soviet Union landed its first spacecraft on Venus in the 1960s, and its sole objective was to gather all the information it could get for analysis on Earth. However, the journey was quite rough for them as their first 7 Venera missions were met with a woeful failure. Venera 1 was launched on February 12, 1961. However, before getting to Venus, its communications were unexpectedly cut off. So it was for the remaining 6 missions that came after this, designated Venera 1. Venera 2 was later launched on November 12, 1965, and was the first probe mission that successfully landed on Venus. This was eventually followed by 12 other Venera missions that were also successful, garnering highly insightful knowledge about the planet. These missions included Venera 7, launched in 1967, successfully landing on the hot planet and later sending a handful of data to the Soviet Union scientists. Before this mission, scientists had no clue that there was neither water, oxygen, or a magnetic field on Venus. All of this information was gathered from the planet within just 90 minutes of Venera 7's probe on the planet, before it finally melted under atmospheric pressure and unbearable heat. Venera 5 and 6 were also other noteworthy missions, launched in January 1969 and 5 days apart from each other. These space probes enjoyed a significant upgrade, having advanced modifications that could withstand the pressure of the hot planet to collect more data from it. Eventually, another mission, Venera 8, was launched, and it was able to successfully take camera shots, photos, and clips of Venus. After this was the Venera 9. 12 space probes, launched between 1975 and 78, weighing about 11,000 pounds each and having well-equipped landers to take accurate shots. However, the photos from these explorations were mostly kept a secret until a Soviet astronaut finally revealed them online. At this point, we might want to start feeling grateful for the internet, don't you think? Well, regardless of what was kept secret and what wasn't, what we are sure of is the fact that the success of the Soviet Union's Venus exploration had given birth to a lot of good things, and this included inspiring the nation's further expeditions on Mars. Now let's talk about the Soviet Union's mission to Mars. Let it be known that the Soviet Union has had remarkable experiences on the Martian surface as well, and some of these experiences will wow you. The nation's journey to Mars, or its Mars missions, was launched between 1960 and 1973. These missions involved spacecraft that were, of course, uncrewed and were majorly made up of landers, orbiters, and flyby space probes. The Union's first mission to Mars was launched in 1969, but unfortunately failed to arrive at its destination due to certain design and technical issues. The failed mission was soon followed by Mars 2 and 3, which were similar spacecraft, launched closely following each other with a time gap of a few days. Starting with Mars 2, it weighed over 4,000 kilograms and was launched on May 19, 1971. Mars 3 soon followed behind, launched on May 28, 1971, having the same weight as well. Both space probes were designed to cover the 200 million kilometers space gap between Mars and the Earth. For the mission, they were skillfully equipped with some advanced tools, including spherical landing capsules, conical braking shields, some retro rockets, and parachute systems. Girded up for the mission, they weighed about 4,650 kilograms precisely. If you are amazed by this equipment already, then you're on the right track, as these space probes had space capsules that are not different from our space capsules today. But there is more, as they also carried in them early space technologies of the Soviet Union that would later reveal them to be the earliest pioneers of the invention of rovers, which we have today. In a bid to conquer Mars, the Soviet Union had built the earliest of rovers, with the first set of inventions named the Prop-M rover. Carried on Mars 2 and 3, these rovers had 2 advanced abilities for their time. They could observe the Martian surface like an astronaut would if he or she were there in person, and they did this effectively with their square shape, each weighing about 5,000 kilograms. Their bodily features were designed to aid their easy navigation through Mars, with their hopping movement standing as a tool to help them escape boulders and ditches. This is so much for the earliest model of a rover, if we must say, as they are also able to work autonomously. But as advanced as the Prop M rover was, it wasn't wireless. Instead, it had a 15-meter-long cable that connected it to the landing capsule. Again, as good as this invention was, it only lasted for about 20 seconds on Mars during the Mars 3 mission, providing very useful information on the planet's density, texture, and strength before it eventually crashed due to a system malfunction that affected everything on the mission. The Mars 3 spacecraft had landed successfully on the planet, becoming the first spacecraft to land on Mars without a crash. Though Mars 2 was the first spacecraft to reach the surface of Mars, its landing system eventually failed and the lander got lost. Things were at least better for the Mars 3 mission. Here, the spacecraft had two main parts, an orbiter and a landing module, both equipping it to observe mass from orbit and the Martian surface, with the object being to gather a lot of information. The mission was also equipped with a photo camera, ultraviolet spectrometers, infrared, and magnetometers. The landers of Mars 2 and 3 were also amazing, as they were designed to scale through the effect of a descent. The sequence of the landing involves deploying parachutes that were designed for the atmosphere of Mars. After this, retro rockets were activated briefly to aid the spacecraft's soft landing. Indeed, the landing was a success, but not for long. Shortly after Mars 3 landed, it lost contact with the base. Still, it had already provided useful scientific knowledge in its little operation time, aiding scientific advancement. But here is something that many people never knew about. The Mars 3 mission and the efforts put into it were leading somewhere. In other words, the Soviet Union had something in mind as they pursued the exploration of Mars. It turned out that while they explored the Red Planet, they were also looking for answers to the mystery of aliens and extraterrestrial life on Mars. For this purpose, the Mars 3 rover was also well equipped to look for biological life forms on the planet. It was already making headway, having the first live image transmission from Mars. However, the image was blurry and unable to capture any alien figure. Being able to make live image transmission was a groundbreaking achievement. It would have led to more achievements if the mission had not been abruptly disrupted. According to the USSR Astronaut, Mars 3 went silent after 15 seconds of data transmission. The causes of this silence are unknown, though some blame the event on the frequent dust storms on the Martian surface. Now, dust storms on Mars happen to be one of Mars's intriguing phenomena. These gigantic dust storms can happen for weeks, creating a blurry, troubled scene that contrasts what we know of Mars as quiet and lifeless. Here, dust storms happen frequently and easily due to the atmospheric and topographic conditions that include the emptiness of the planet. The Soviet Union had been completely cut off communications with the Mars 3 mission, so there was no way to know what happened or figure out whether a dust storm played a role in the mission's failure. Ultimately, the event was a true example of things not going according to plan, as it went directly opposite what had been planned. First, the Prop M rover was designed to be manipulated by a special arm of the Mars 3 spacecraft, which it was tethered to. Here, the rover was only supposed to move within the camera's view of Mars 3, while taking measurements at every 5 feet distance covered. But none of this happened as planned, and the rover itself eventually did not explore a significant area of the planet. The mission's failure made the Soviet Union keep the Prop M rover's invention a secret for over 20 years, not mentioning it in the official reports till 1990, when an astronaut revealed it. Though Mars 3 failed, it allowed scientists to learn from everything that went wrong, also causing the Soviet Union to improve its space technology. But while this was happening, the case was not completely closed for Mars 3. Let's talk about the shocking discovery on Mars. In 2005, Americans joined the Mars race with the MRO, which stands for Mars Reconnaissance Orbiters. This orbiter was equipped with a high-resolution camera to capture even very small objects on the Martian surface. One of the objectives of the MRO was to find the long-lost Mars 3. Therefore, it used images and data from Mars 3 transmission to map its landing coordinates, hoping to find something. After so long of trying, something shocking was discovered by the MRO. According to NASA, what they found looked like the Mars 3 debris, having objects that looked like a wrecked spaceship's parts. The scene also featured items like the debris of a parachute, a circular metal object, and a dark area nearby that looked like the landing point of Mars 3 in 1971. Despite this discovery, the cause of the Mars 3 mission failure is still unknown, leaving just the evidence of the mission as consolation. One can only wonder if the truth about what happened to the Mars 3 mission will ever be found out. The Martian dust storms might not have been the cause of the mysterious event. Otherwise, Mars 3 would probably have been buried underneath the dust, if we think about it. Then again, we still cannot tell whether the dust storms are strong enough to pull the spacecraft apart and leave just debris behind. We will let the experts decide on matters like this. In the end, the possibility that a Martian could have also interrupted the mission continues to hover around the mysterious event, and we can only hope that the future will bring more closure to this case. As for the need to discover the truth concerning alien life, this will also probably continue until the truth is found. So far, not much has been said about the Soviet Union's opinion on extraterrestrial life on Mars due to their posture of silence. However, a unique Soviet astronaut has done something different by revealing his experiences while orbiting the Earth in space. He did this in 2020 when he shared UFO footage on social media. In the footage, the Russian astronaut or cosmonaut was orbiting Earth at the ISS while recording a video of Earth's southern lights or aurora australis. By this, we are referring to a superb display of lights in the night sky from Earth, which can be seen in Australia, Antarctica, Chile, New Zealand, and Argentina. It features green lights alongside other rainbow-colored lights, and the view is even better from space. The astronaut Ivan Wanger was there when he noticed the unique formation of something else moving in space. In the video scene are stars, some not too visible auroras, and the curved edge of Earth. But on the left side, something unique was also caught in sight, a group of objects up to 4 or 5 with bright lights gliding slowly over the Earth at an equal distance from themselves. The scene lasted 53 seconds, shot in a 1M time lapse. But the question is, what were those objects? According to some, the encounter is similar to other UFO sightings that we encounter on Earth. Surprisingly, the Soviet Union space station has been quiet so far, not commenting or mentioning the video since 2020, even after Ivan submitted it to them. Over the years, NASA has consistently been accused of keeping its findings secret. But it turns out even the Soviet Union was also good at this. An example of this is Venera 13 detecting traces of organic molecules on the surface of Venus in 1983. This is another interesting find made by the Soviet Union, which is open to a world of possibilities. It suggests that Venus, though a highly dramatically harsh planet, could be hiding some alien life within it, which we desperately sought to find. But even this is not talked about as much as we want, bringing forward the secretive nature of space agencies again. But one may wonder why the space agencies are accused of being secretive. In the end, while it looks like they might be hiding many things from the public, we would like to mention that space explorations by space agencies are scarcely kept secret without a good reason. Sometimes the information is only withheld from the public to have experts investigate them more in depth. Here, you might never hear of them if they are not true. At other times, space agencies may also keep secrets when they might be protecting you from panic or trying to protect their intellectual property. But who knows? One thing we are very confident about is that nothing will remain hidden under the sun forever. So, at the right time, everything kept secret will eventually be brought to light. But until then, we can only speculate, as the human mind is a curious zone that will continue to ask questions until it is satiated. Thanks for watching. Don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's unbelievable.